Hello everyone, my name is Flex and Panic and this is another reaction to Zoku Owarimonogatari episode 6. It is the last one. It is a finish and you know what to do. As always, if you want to see my reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replace the parentheses dot parts with real dots and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode, so see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, I mean, I already mentioned it, right? In the end, it is kind of what I expected. It was once again Araragi causing all the fuss. It was his fault. Although, in some ways, you cannot really blame him on this. I mean, he really has no control about what he's doing so much. It was not like he did aggressively reach into the mirror and pull the mirror into this world, those 20%, right? It is just as Oshinougi says, he has to be more careful. It is kind of, I think, like the story of most of the Monogatari series. A lot of fuss was caused by him because he's unaware of his powers, of his abilities. His mind is running, right? He has his own problems and emotions and things he thinks about. So that's why it's happening. So in this case, 20% it is. A mirror kind of swallows 20% of what it reflects normally. So it kind of absorbs 20%, and they just took that as the 20% or all those things we lose over time. Small memories, mainly regrets and emotions it was about. So in the moment when he stood in front of the mirror, he remembered for a short second when watching himself there was something. And I do know that feeling. And I guess all of us know that. This moment when you're standing there and thinking like, what was I thinking about? Or like, there was something important and it just slips my mind right now. Sometimes we do remember. It does not happen often, but sometimes there is this moment when we're like, oh yes, I wanted to do something. There was something I promised myself. I don't know, stuff like that. But most of the time, there's just this fleeting feeling of you just lost something. Sure, at least myself, and I guess many others as well, we tell ourselves like, okay, if it is really, really, really important, I will remember it. And if not, then it possibly is not that important. But still, there is this realization that your mind, that your brain just forgot something. And that's a weird thing. It's like when you're tying a knot to remember on something. You say like, I want to remember that, so I make a knot in, I don't know, whatever, right? And then you're later on, you're moving around and you see the knot and you're like, oh, a knot. I think I wanted to remember myself. But of what? And that's it, happens as well. It's a harder version. Normally you should remember them. So a nice idea, an interesting concept. Here it was about him having lost things, regrets he had. But they used it to show us the regrets of others as well, and partially the regrets of Aragi concerning the others. So he said it in the end that he laughed at Karina's example for wearing a skirt and stuff like that, right? So I can see that. Those are small regrets you carry with you. Most of the time you don't remember them. There might be sometimes a small part that remembers, right? Like a feeling like we had here. Or once in a blue moon, this memory, this regret comes up again. Yeah, I can see that. So, the question was why is he dressed like her? And it is, I think, partially bound to the to his regret, which is not mentioned really. And I thought about that. I mean, I see multiple options there, and it's all wild guessing. Sure, you could say he dresses as a girl because somewhere in the past he may have had this wish to be more pretty, as example, or maybe to be a girl. Who knows? There is this kind of choice in you, which direction you want to go. Sure, you're born in a specific kind of way, which mainly should go to one direction, but it is, at least nowadays, a matter of choice as well. And if you feel like a girl, why not go for it? However, I'm not sure if that is the main thing here, what it is about. It was interesting because they had Oshinougi in the past as his counterpart, and Oshinougi changed genders from male to female to male. We have seen this. Here, she is dressing more male-like. So this is a thing that's in the series not only since this episode. There were small hints into this direction. I'm not sure if this is where they want to go, or it is maybe about some inner insecurity he has about himself and who he is. Who knows? Maybe he just wants to dress more colorful, so why not? Then we had Oshinougi reflecting on the fact that his the things he experienced in this mirrored world, which we now know is the normal one, may be hints to what he has forgotten, to what he's regretting. And there were, as examples, some parts that some people that mentioned that he stole panties all the time from them, but they still like him. And I mean, if I look at this series over all the time, he has grown up, and we talked about that. So he became adult, he behaved more, he did not steal panties anymore, you could say. So especially in the beginning, I remember that in the first seasons, he was very, very focused on the girls, and well, he had his own problems. He cared about the problems that were going on in the story, but this so girl-focused thing became a bit less. Not very much, but he has grown in his decision-making, in his taking things seriously, and maybe, just maybe, that is something he a little bit regrets. Because, as weird as it is, the more grown-up we get, the more serious we have to take stuff, and the more serious we become ourselves. So we kind of lose a bit of lightness, a bit of grace, a bit of I don't give a crap moments, right? As a kid, you just go on. So there's a problem, someone else will handle it, right? Because you're a kid. As a grown-up, you will have to handle the problems. That's how it works. So maybe that is his regret, of losing this moment of just going with the flow, right? As I said, all speculations. There was this moment when Oshinougi nearly had him into believing it was a dream, which, I mean, come on, they had to bring that one up somewhere. So, sure, if you could fool yourself into believing that a huge problem you have is just a dream, and you're well, you could kind of trick yourself for a while. In our world, that will not work forever, right? Because even if I say it is just a dream that I don't know, there is someone being run over in front of me, right? Let's say that. And I say it's just a dream, it's not real. It is a defensive mechanism, sure. Because I don't want to realize that for sure. I draw back, I pull back from that. Will that work forever? Possibly not, because it happened in real, and I cannot change the world as it is. I could, if I get damaged mentally enough, make that into my reality, but that will cause a lot of other troubles for me, as we all know, right? However, for Araragi, it is different. And that's why Oshinougi even said, nah, even I wouldn't go for that, although it might work. If she really would have been able to trick him into believe it is a dream, he could have made that real. He made this mirror world appear into ours. He created other stuff in the past, as we all know. So his mind is incredibly powerful. It is dangerous, as we see here again. So why not make him undo stuff by believing it's a dream? Just like that, you know? I mean, he would kind of trap everyone somehow, because he flattens the world into what was normal a year ago. From his perspective, I mean, they still existed, right? Would he write himself out of this story, or how would that happen? I mean, it is an interesting idea, and that might have even been like a very own story arc, right? Of him being in a dream state. No, him more being like he denies everything and his own powers denies, and that you would have multiple episodes of people from his real life trying to get in and get through to him, or him seeing small glimpses that his subconsciousness throws at him, like, dude, that's not real. I don't know. It might have been a really nice idea for another story. But she didn't go with it. She is his what did she say? His safety cord, kind of, right? So in this case, she was the one that made him realize what's happening and helped him out of the misery. And possibly or hopefully this will change the view on her, because she is dangerous as heck. But it will change the view on him as well, because once again, he did something to this world. So he is kind of an oddity creator. We have to realize that. And that's why this scene here is so real. You still need to be more careful. This will not end. They had some nice little sayings in, like tilting at the windmills, so that's Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, I think it is. Very good. The one that is so in his very own world, Don Quixote, that he sees windmills and believes them to be giants he has to fight. And he is completely in this world. It is his world. He believes it. He builds it around him. And his sidekick, Sancho Panza, just follows along, knowing it's not like that. But he's like, man, he's happy. No one gets hurt. So what? Which is a cool thing, a very nice idea. But in many ways, Don Quixote, by creating his own world, is having parts of Aragi, who creates his own world again and again. Who are you? Yeah. Well, okay. We finally met Senjugahara, and she was not at all in the mirrored version. Which is interesting. And I asked myself why. I mean, we have seen characters that, out of two reasons, as far as we know. The one is regrets Aragi might have had about them, and characters that had regrets themselves. So I don't know for the second one if Senjugahara has any regrets herself about anything in her life. But for the first one, regrets Aragi had about Senjugahara, he put it in words at the end of this episode. He regrets nothing. He regrets not ever, you know? For him, it's perfect. It works out perfectly. So possibly that is the thing here. That's why she wasn't in there. And by the way, if he would have been trapped in this world longer, I still believe that she would have been his cord to pull out of it. Not Oshino Ogi. As good as she may be, I think there would have been a moment where he realizes, man, Senjugahara is waiting there, and I need to get to her. She changed outfit. I don't know about that one. Okay. So there was this that she was copying Hanekawa before. Whatever. I did not really realize that. And yeah, they ended off with, once again, a nice ending with Aragi and Senjugahara. They had this moment at the street, and I do know this moment Aragi explains, of kind of like stumbling over your own feet because you're not sure which foot to step forward first, which is a weird thing because you should be in control of your body and you should have made up your minds. You had enough time while you stood there, but yes, it happens from time to time that you're like falling forward and not knowing which foot to take forward first. It's a weird thing. And she, I mean, it was not about this moment especially. It was just an example, and I think it was in many ways about this. The future is unclear, and I don't know where to go. I'm not sure how to move forward properly in this moment. It just happens, you know, and I will deal with it, kind of. That's what he said. It will work out somehow. And then Senjugahara just comes along and says, "Don't worry, I got you." And she leaps forward with him, taking him with her. So it is surely a picture as well of them, of those two moving forward together, of her taking him with her, leaping forward, believing into a future. A leap is always a thing compared to a step. A step is secure, right? You know where you step to. Next step, one after the other. A leap is trust, is faith. You leap into the future, you leap forward onto the street, and you could even hear a car coming there in this moment, by the way. It doesn't matter. She leaps forward, and he just follows along. Yeah, as I said, the couple, right? What else can we say? It was a good episode. It was a good ending. It was kind of what I expected in the meaning of the being caused by him. And it would have been complicated if not, because in many ways all these stories were closed, and or many of them were closed, and they would have opened up a new battlefield now if there would have been anything else happening that it came from outside again. But no, it's from inside. It once again shows that Aragi has to watch out what he's doing and thinking. Shinougi stated as well that some of those 20% might cause a bit of things in the future. Mainly the people will forget it very soon again. But there will be a short moments, some days maybe, where they will remember or will behave slightly different. For many, it will be good to forget it again, right? Because it's in many ways regrets that you already handled, that you already finished. And it's not always good to bring up regrets again that you have from your past. Mainly you struggle with them and you cannot really get better with it, right? For some, I somehow still would hope that it may cause small changes. So especially Sodachi. But that's me wanting to have a sugar-coated ending as always. So, full episode. Cool season. Very nice story arc. I liked it. Although it was very, very unclear for me to see through up to the end. So they kept this hidden for quite a while. But that's it. You know, as always. I hope you liked as well. I did for sure. So, until the next time, which will be another series, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.